Toyota just got caught. Toyota dealerships forced consumers into products like gap insurance and warranties that they didn't even want. Come here and we just need to sign. Let's sign that right there. Perfect. Toyota was actually reporting consumers were missing payments when they weren't actually missing payments. And that's a big no-no. And now they have to pay $60 million for scamming their customers. They had to pay these fines and they never even admitted to doing anything wrong. They actually make a ton of money on all of these back-end products. The problem is that the whole car market system is set up in a way that lets scams like this happen every single day. Because if they don't sell them these products, they're really not making any money off the deal. You can get this for $50,000. And we're going to throw in your gap insurance. So Toyota Motor Credit was just accused by the CFPB of basically scamming their customers. The CFPB is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So here's what happened. When consumers were going into actually these Toyota dealerships to buy their vehicle and sitting down with the F&I managers, whoever was closing out the deal, they were actually promoting, pushing products like bundled services, like your warranties, extended warranties, your gap insurance. And these salespeople were making it seem like these products were mandatory for the customer to purchase with this vehicle. All right, so we've got your paperwork here for your brand new 4Runner. We got your nitrogen on here. We got your paint protectant. We've got your gas. Sure, we got your extended warranty. What? Come here and we just need to sign. Let's sign that right there. Perfect, perfect. So now here's the biggest problem with all this. Now, when these consumers, they got home and they had some buyer's remorse and they were looking at what they were actually paying for, and they saw these warranties, this gap insurance, this stuff that they didn't want after the fact, and they realized that, you know what, it actually wasn't mandatory. When they went to go to call to cancel it, Toyota actually made this almost impossible for these consumers to get out of these products. And they even took the steps to create this department, a retention department, to basically have employees that their job was to try to keep these consumers in these products. There was a whole hotline set up that when customers would call to complain, and these customers, they wanted to get out of this gap insurance, out of these extended warranties, they would be transferred to this department of these spec ops level salespeople, and their job was those tasks to keep you in this product. And you can relate it similarly to if you're trying to cancel cable. I'm sure tons of you have actually had this experience where when you call in to these salespeople and you're like, I want to cancel this product, and they immediately say, oh, you know what, let us transfer you to our whatever department so we can assist you in this. And they're not going to assist you in canceling your cable. What they're trying to do is assist you in actually keeping your cable. And this is very similar to what Toyota did, and it's not good for consumers, and this is why they're in big trouble right now. So here's another big problem. Toyota was actually reporting that consumers were missing payments when they weren't actually missing payments. They were reporting this to these credit reporting agencies, and what that can do to these consumers is actually destroy a lot of their credit. If you have missed payments, obviously your credit score is going to go down, and that's going to limit the ability for them to get loans in the future. So this is a really big problem, and a problem that for these consumers can carry on for a very long time, because this is going to hit their credit, and this is something that's just not going to be easily erased off of these consumers' credit reports. And the thing too, there's a lot of these consumers that went through this that don't even know that Toyota would have reported that they had not made a payment when they actually did make a payment. So there's going to be people that find out about this problem a year, 2 years down the road when they're going to try to get some other loan. They pull up their credit report, and they're not allowed to get this loan because they have missing payments on their credit report from Toyota. So Toyota agreed to pay $60 million because of all of this, $12 million for fines, and the rest, the $48 million, were to be paid to the consumers that were actually affected by all this. So Toyota's going to pay all these fines, but you know what? They never even admitted that they even did anything wrong. wrong. And really $60 million to a massive corporation like Toyota is really just a slap on the wrist. At the end of the day, I think the biggest punishment that's coming out of this is that Toyota is now going to be forced to change the way that they are actually making money on a lot of these extended warranties, these gap insurance, because they're going to change the way that these employees are actually incentivized to sell this. So this is actually going to cost them a lot of money in the long run. It's really money they shouldn't have been making in the first place because they were doing it the wrong way, but it's really going to take down their profitability on all of these products, because if they're not incentivizing these salespeople the way that they were, obviously these salespeople are not going to be pushing it as hard as they were to try to get these consumers in product. And when I say pushing, I mean outright lying to a lot of these consumers. Yeah, so I was wanting to buy this RAV4, and I've done my research, and I know it should be right around $35,000. Well, you're in luck, because we're actually running a sale today where you can get this for $50,000. And we're going to throw in your gap insurance. And I know that these changes are already going into effect. I actually know someone that works in a franchise Toyota store, and he's already told me that they are changing complete processes of how they're actually selling their vehicles because of these fines and because of these rulings that actually went through the system. So now here's the problem with all these headlines that are coming out of Toyota, is that it can really damage the trust that a consumer can have with Toyota as a brand. And we all know that Toyota is one of the most trusted brands out there. They're known for reliability, and they don't want to do anything to actually hurt this image, because this image helps them sell a lot of vehicles. And when a consumer is out there doing research on what they're going to buy, if they're on the fence whether they're buying a Toyota or buying a Honda, and they come across this news story and see what Toyota dealers are capable of, what Toyota is capable of doing, and they have to pay all these fines, and then it goes on to say that they don't even admit any wrongdoing, then that can lead the customer to think, okay, well, if they're okay doing this stuff and they're saying I'm not wrong about doing this, then what else can they do? And it could just make a consumer just think twice about actually buying a Toyota versus, say, somebody like Honda that doesn't have any of these stories that are coming out, at least currently right now in the news. But just something for consumers to think about, and Toyota could really take a big hit as far as the trust of the consumer when you have stuff like this coming out in the news. So now, why would all this happen, and why was all this even allowed to happen? Why would these dealerships push products and make them seem mandatory and basically put these consumers into things that they didn't even want, like this gap insurance, like these extended warranties, and then after the fact make it very, very difficult for them to actually cancel these products? Well, from the dealership perspective, they actually make a ton of money on all of these back-end products, whether it be financing the vehicle through them, selling this gap insurance, selling these extended warranties, selling a lot of these add-ons. A lot of this stuff is very, very profitable. So what's going to happen is there's going to be an environment set up where when their employees actually sell these products, they're going to be greatly compensated for it, because these dealerships, they actually want their employees pushing these products because they make so much money on these products. So what that creates is an environment where, okay, these salespeople, they're not really making the kind of money that they want to make unless they're getting these consumers into the products. And we've seen other companies that have had these incentive-based compensation plans that make, I won't say make, that really push their employees to be more predatory as far as what they're selling. A big example of this all over the news, Wells Fargo. It's a similar kind of circumstance here. And that's just from the employee standpoint. So if you look at the company, if you look at the dealership standpoint on this whole matter, is that historically, dealerships don't really make a ton of money on the vehicles that they're actually selling. Now, we can have this argument over the last 3 years. They've cleaned up. They've had these markups, these add-ons, and these are all tied to the vehicle, so they are actually making a ton of money on the vehicle over the last 3 years. But now we're getting back to the point where, okay, a lot of incentives are coming in, and you can find deals under MSRP from a lot of these dealerships. And when you go that route, when dealerships are selling for under MSRP, and historically a lot of times somewhere around invoice, then they're not actually making all that much money on these vehicles. So they have to sell these products to become profitable. I'll give you an example. So I've recently had the opportunity to talk to some franchise managers at a lot of these big dealerships, and they tell me this, that they don't really make all that much money on these vehicles that they're actually selling. They've given me examples of $200 to $500 per vehicle, but where they're making their money is off these products. They're making their money off the dock fees. They're making their money off service. So really, they want the customers to come in, and they want to sell them a vehicle, but really more than that, they want to sell them all these things that are associated with the vehicle. That's where they make their money. That's why they're going to give these incentives to their employees to sell these products. And that's why a lot of these dealerships will take these deceptive routes to try to get these consumers in products, because if they don't sell them these products, they're really not making any money off the deal. So gap insurance is a product that you can put on your vehicle if you actually owe more on your car than what it's worth. And what this gap insurance does is that if you end up wrecking your car, you total it out, it will kick in and actually cover the negative equity that is on your vehicle. And gap insurance has become a very popular sell for a lot of these dealerships over the last couple of years, because there have been these ridiculous market add-ons, these ridiculous market adjustments that these dealers have added, causing these customers to pay way over the value of these vehicles. And when that happens, it can take them years of payments to even get to the point where they don't have negative equity built into their car. So if they get into a wreck, that money's got to come from somewhere, and gap insurance can basically bridge this gap between the value and what the consumer owes on the vehicle. And this is one reason that you'll hear a lot from people on YouTube, even me, I've told you this, that when you're going in to negotiate at a dealership, you don't want to tell them that you're paying cash. And the reason for that is because they can make money off the back end of the deal from getting you your financing. And if they know that you're paying cash and they're going to be able to make less money off of you because they're not making money on that back end, then they're going to be less willing to actually negotiate with you and try to get you a better price, because your sale doesn't mean as much as someone else's sale coming in that's actually getting financed through them. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely want you to pay cash for a vehicle. I don't want you to have debt. That's something that I really don't like myself. I would rather you buy something that you can afford and pay outright for it. But if you're going that route and you're going to pay cash, when you go into a dealership, don't let them know that, because you will be able to get a better deal if they think that you're financing through them. So you always want to get your out the door price before you're actually talking about financing, how you're going to pay it. And so here's the thing. I love Toyotas. Here at my shop, we try to buy as many Toyotas as possible. I think that they're the best vehicle out there that you can buy as far as reliability. So I'm not trying to dissuade you from actually buying a Toyota or even going to a Toyota dealership to purchase one. I just want you to know exactly what you're signing up for, exactly what you're paying for. So make sure you check your paperwork when you're buying a vehicle. So now, how do you avoid running into something like this when you're purchasing a vehicle? Well, it's pretty easy. You just need to know exactly what you're signing up for. You need to know what you're paying for. And this is all going to be in your paperwork. And if when you're getting sold a car, if you don't understand something, make sure that you tell the salesperson that you're dealing with, the F&I manager that you're dealing with, whoever you're actually buying this car from that's getting you to sign this paperwork, make them explain it. And make them explain it again in a different way if you don't understand what you're doing. And if you feel like that you're going to have an issue understanding actually what you're signing up for, actually what you're going to be paying for, take someone with you that's had more experience purchasing vehicles with you, so maybe they can help you through this paperwork. At the end of the day, all it boils down to is know what you're signing up for, know what you're paying for, know your out the door price, and double and triple check your paperwork before you sign it. That the CFPB, no. I'm trying to cut it out right before that. This is not going well. Drop my papers. It's the stuff that they didn't. So we're out here trying to film. I got my buddy helping me out filming some stuff, and he's over there taking pictures of 4Runners. And you know what? Before we leave today, he might actually have to go in and talk to a salesperson. We came here to film and make a video about Toyota, and he might leave with one today.